YouTubers, Migmatisgolf with another tips and tricks video. The last video I made was a Read to Improve video, and it was about a book called The Physics of Golf, and it got me thinking about the subject of today's video. As you all know, majority of golfers, or majority amateur golfers, are slices of the ball, and a slice normally occurs for two reasons. One, the club face is open at impact, and also the path of the swing on the downswing cuts across the ball. If you're a right-handed golfer, you know, from right to left, cuts across the ball like that with an open club face. Ball starts left, slices right. And there are various degrees of slices. People that have a very small one call it a fade, but generally, all of those shape shots are caused by those two things. So the aim in golf is obviously to strike the ball purely straight with minimal side spin for your bog standard shot, and that is best achieved by approaching the golf ball from an inside to out swing path for a right-handed golfer. So the club approaches from the inside, so on this side of the ball, strikes the ball, ball goes down the target line, and then the club returns on the arc inside the target line. So when I said inside to out, what I really meant was inside to striking the ball to inside. That's the ideal. Second best to that is inside, striking the ball, going out a bit. That will create your pushes or your push draws or your draws depending on where the club face is. All of that is much better than a slice, because slice obviously robs you of distance and controllability. You can't really control where the ball is going to go. So we know those two things, and most slicers will go see their pros, and the general advice is, well, your sequencing is wrong. You're not starting with your lower body first to drop the club into the slot, la-da-dee-la-da-da. And a lot of times you come away thinking that you have to retool your swing completely, and your sequencing is off, and it's going to take you a couple of years, you know, to get the proper muscles firing in the correct sequence before you improve. Now, that's true for a lot of people, but some people actually fire the correct muscles in the correct sequence. They just don't understand correctly the relationship between the speed of the arms, and when I say arms, I mean this whole unit, including the hands here as they grab together. So this is a unit, the speed of the arms and the speed of the shoulders. Okay? Most people understand quite intuitively that a mass on the end of a stick moves faster than the center of the circle. So the faster I can turn this part, the faster that end will move. They understand that, and that kind of is what creates problems in the golf swing, because as they get to the top of their backswing, they think the faster I turn this, the faster the end will go, the more power I get. This is where the golf swing is a bit of an unnatural beast, because it's not as simple as that. If you imagine that the shoulders, sorry, I just hit the microphone there. If you imagine that the shoulders turn in one circle, and the arm unit, as I described, turns in another circle, a bit up and down like that. Okay, not turning my shoulders there, so it looks a bit strange. You'll realize that the shoulders travel on a very small circle, and the arms, or the hands at the end of the arms, travel on a large circle, and the end of the club head, travels even in a larger circle. Okay, so when you're at the top of your backswing, let's talk about your left shoulder only. Your left shoulder is roughly about 90 degrees from where it was at address. And when you get down to impact, it wants to be back where it was or address, possibly just slightly open or slightly closed, but it's got about that distance to move. So if I face on here, here I am top of my backswing, left shoulder is there. In the time the club head gets to the ball, it only needs to move from there to there, right? What is that? 18 inches, 2 feet max, right? Now, the hands, on the other hand, are here, and they've got to get from there all the way to there. What is that? 7 or 8 feet? 6 feet maybe? I don't know. Haven't measured it, but it's a lot further. The club head has to travel even further, okay? So, understanding that means that you can then appreciate that the arms and the hands have to move much, much faster than the shoulders, okay? So, even though intuitively you think this has to spin fast for the club head to move fast, really what needs to happen is you need to give these arms a head start. They need a head start. They've got much further to travel before the shoulders engage. Okay, I'm going to show you in a minute a very, very simple drill using something you all have hopefully, which is a car door, to illustrate how power is applied to the golf ball. So bear with me, I'll splice that into this video. I'll show you that in a minute. But just to recap, your shoulders only have to turn that much, but your arms have to go all the way there, which means they need a head start. They need to move faster. So if you want to practice taking swings and just moving, thinking of moving the arms fast and the shoulders slow, get the feel of, you know, get used to what that feels like, moving these hands and arms much faster than your shoulders move. And get used to that feeling, and you'll sort of suddenly notice that the club doesn't start by getting outside the line at the beginning. It starts a bit inside and then comes through. Okay? So that's very briefly the point of this whole video is your arms need to move much, much faster than your shoulders. It's very counterintuitive, but basically they need a head start and they'll get to here, and then you can fire those shoulders as quick as you can. Okay? All right, so stay tuned because we'll move on really quickly to that little tip with the car door just to illustrate where power is applied in the golf swing. All right guys, here we are. I'm using a car door because it just has a bit more weight than a door in your house. Bit of a little hinge detent there, so you have to exert a bit of force to close it. Better illustrates what I'm showing you. If I was going to close this car door, pretend that this is my right hand at the top of the swing, and I was to exert force trying to close it from the top here, that's not a very powerful position. There's a lot of strain on my shoulder, and I have to exert a lot of shoulder force to get that closed. However, if I drop my hand down all of a sudden below shoulder height, all of a sudden my hips can engage and my shoulders need a lot less power to close that door. It's much easier, okay? So if you can imagine that you're hitting the ball from below shoulder height, that's where you can apply power. That's when you can get the mass of your lower body into the shot to create power. So if you imagine the top of your backswing, your hands are the top of the car door, and the first thing you want to do is not try and close the door, but slide the hand down. Slide it down below shoulder height, and then there's a lot of power there, okay? So that's the first move in your golf swing. Down below shoulder height, then you can really apply power into it and slam that door closed. That's what you want. That is where the arms move further or faster in the downswing first before the shoulders engage. Okay, I hope that illustrates it for you. That's enough of that. Try that. I'm sure it will work for you. Move those arms faster. See you later.